Most Christians pay little or no attention to the book of Revelation because they are either amillennialists or premillennialists. That's right. Those are the only two types. So, I intend to show you the biblical evidence that supports the idea that both of them are wrong in their current understanding of Bible prophecy. Huge debates and arguments against and within those groups have left most people in a dire state of confusion when it comes to interpreting prophecy. Jesus would be appalled. In this video and all the other free donkey videos, I will show you how all the various visions and Bible prophecies are tied together in a way that there are no contradictions. Before getting into the seals, we need to set the stage. This scroll actually represents the book of Revelation. Is also mentioned in chapter 10 as the book which John is told to eat, and Daniel's 70 weeks prophecy as the part which must be sealed or hidden from the Jews. The door to heaven was opened in the first century with the first coming of Christ. In Revelation chapter 3 verse 8, Jesus himself says to the righteous church of Philadelphia that he has set before them an open door. At the time of the rapture, this door is closed for the duration of the tribulation as told and portrayed in multiple verses pertaining to the rapture event. At the time of the second coming as seen in chapter 11 verse 19, the door is once again opened. Now look closely at chapter 4. The door is said to be opened, and although it says, "Come up hither," that phrase does not pertain to the rapture as so many claim. The context depicts the throne room in heaven when Jesus first arrived as a freshly slain lamb. He does not even have a crown yet. The visions and things he sees and will write about are said to be occurring quickly or from this time onward. The 7 lampstands represent the churches which are still on earth. If it was the rapture, it would be presented as the multitude. The end of chapter 4 bestows only 3 accolades upon Jesus at this time which appear to be attached to cross. After receiving the sealed scroll, chapter 5 verse 12 says, "Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power, and riches, and wisdom, and strength, and honor, and glory, and blessing." So, after taking the throne, Jesus now has 7 accolades that he is worthy to receive. But only blessing is added to the 3 mentioned in chapter 4. The rest come later. The time of this scene is right after the Ascension in 30 AD. The thousands of people here are likely the Old Testament saints that were raised with Jesus out of the grave. They will be the ones returning with Jesus to reign on earth after the tribulation. A bonus for you here is that Jesus first arriving in heaven in chapter 4 marks the first thunder from chapter 10. Finally, we arrive at the first seal. Notice that the second thunder occurs in connection with this seal. I cover the 7 thunders in another video, but know that it is God's creation voice. Next we see the horse is white. The rider has a bow but no arrows. He is given a crown and he goes out to conquer, which is the same word elsewhere translated as overcome, as in overcoming the evil one. The bow represents a system of judgment while arrows would represent actual judgment given, so this rider is not judging or harming anyone. The color white will always represent something pure and righteous, especially when it comes from heaven. This rider is the only one given a crown, and this type of crown represents victory, just like Jesus being victorious over sin and death. The dragon spoken of later is said to have diadems which only represents some sort of earthly authority. In his case, it's control over those on earth who have authority like governments and rulers. Satan is always presented as a dragon in prophecy. Notice in chapter 12 that he has only 7 diadems, but in chapter 13 he has 10. The extras are attached after he is cast down to earth, where he will gain greater power and influence over people. Now allow me to reference the Old Testament and show you how these horses and riders are presented there. Zechariah describes the 4 horses attached to the first 4 seals and gives important clues. Mountains represent religious systems. The fact that they are seen emerging from between the 2 mountains means this begins at the crossroads of these 2 great mountains, namely the first century. The white horse was covered as the first one to be released as the Holy Spirit in 30 AD. Horses are portrayed in prophecy as a reference to power. Also notice how each of the first 4 seals also have a different beast attached to each one. A lion, a calf, a man, and an eagle. The second seal is a red horse with a great sword and a penchant for killing. As it says in the text, even killing each other. A careful study of history reveals that Islam became and still is a very powerful religion covering most of the Middle East. They, like all religions, are also divided and fight amongst themselves. A biblical side note here can be made about the ancestry or starting point for these people as being Esau, which means red, The third strong horse or spirit is black and brings about spiritual corruption and famine or false teachings. The text tells us a full day's wages for just a single loaf or piece of bread. But the oil and the wine are protected. They represent a remnant that allow the true gospel to survive the Dark Ages, even though Catholicism was a worldwide power which actually sought to destroy Christians as well as Muslims via the Crusades. So, even though Catholicism has its roots in Christianity but has separated from it, some will be saved out of it, as described in the 7 churches. Hold on a bit, there is still more to follow. This last beast-horse combination is the spirit pretty much already ruling the earth at this present time. The color is translated in different ways, but I believe the best choice is camo, or rainbow, or a mixture of many colors. This final spirit represents confusion or an attempt to appease all the gods. Worship whatever and whomever you desire. Universalism. Eventually, this spirit will culminate as the final Antichrist after the rapture, which will remove whatever restraints of holiness that may be on it now. Even now, it has already burrowed in many roots in today's spiritually darkened and corrupted world. Interesting note here is that this Antichrist system will only have authority over 1/4 of the world. The black horse representing Catholicism settles down in the north, and Zechariah also says that it quiets the Spirit of God in the north country, while the multicolor spirit goes south, which represents wilderness or a roaming spirit. The red horse is not mentioned, but the only direction left for it to go is east. The white horse or Holy Spirit follows after the black horse but is protected from severe corruption. The white spirit moves westward as evidenced by Paul's attempt to go east, but he was prevented by the Holy Spirit according to Acts 16 verse 6. Another bit of evidence involves the sealed eastern gate which shall remain shut until the Lord returns. In case you don't get it, the earth is round and traveling west will eventually bring you back to the eastern gate. Realize also that the gospel message and movements of the Spirit of Truth followed this same path through history. It is also a Jewish belief that the Messiah will return through that gate. The 5th seal marks the time just before the rapture as the martyrs of the church age begin to get restless and maybe even wonder why God is waiting so long. They are given white robes and told to wait just a bit longer. The 6th seal opens with an earthquake signifying the rapture. This will coincide with the 1st trumpet and the 3rd thunder. Mountains represent places of worship. The blood moon indicates war coming. The stars falling represent Satan and his angels being cast out of heaven. The text says that all people great and small will know it is God's doing, and they will seek shelter in all the places of worship but not find it. This will mark the start of the 3.5-year tribulation, or as the Bible calls it, the place of weeping and gnashing of teeth. Weeping signifies those who mourn and also those who are truly repentant. Gnashing of teeth simply means the person is angry toward God and Jesus and the truth of the Bible. The 7th seal is only quickly noted in one short sentence in chapter 8. It only says it is opened and there is noticed a brief silence in heaven. I believe this may represent a moment of prayer in heaven after Satan and his followers are kicked out because everyone there knows what is coming upon the earth and its inhabitants. Any way you want to slice it. It remains as the end of the church age. It also would then mark the time when God's attention returns back onto the Jews and when their temporary blindness is removed, just as the scroll representing the book of Revelation is now fully open. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful. And please watch the other videos to see how everything gels together without any contradictions. There is also free information available on eBay. Just search free donkey, then read the description section of each listing. All the information is right there, and so you do not need to pay. Unless you want to, of course. Please like, subscribe, share and comment to help me improve these videos and reach more people. May God bless you and keep you.